Hello fans of Marvel Heroes and friends of my channel, my name is Wilfred, and ever since the game has gone dark a while back, many of you have asked me what are the things to play. So I have a new series coming in mind for you guys, especially for the Marvel Heroes fans wanting to transit into another game. Alright, so I think suffice to say, there are many games in today's world and just too many games, too little time. My wife and I are still playing the Diablo 3 Season 12. We are playing the Crusaders. They're fantastic. It's been a lot of wonderful, progression and loot and so on. I've also started playing Titan Quest. It is a 10 years old game, but I got it on discount in Steam for $4. I think original price is $20. And also they have a brand new DLC which is called the Ragnarok. I've got the DLC plus the base game and started off a Rune Master, doing a lot of theory crafting, enjoying the story so far. So it's been a really solid experience. Mule Legend, something that I've dabbled into as well. Not too much to comment upon it because I think I'm still at the very early stage of testing and trying whether this is free-to-play game is really something that I would like to invest more time and more money in it. Last but not the least, there are quite a number of Marvel-related games as well, but I think it is a very special genre. Some like it, some don't, like the Lego series. Now, what about Path of Exile? Path of Exile has been a really successful free-to-play action role-playing game in recent history. Even David Braffett, who was the founder of Diablo 1, 2, as well as Marvel Heroes, have moved on to Path of Exile. And they have the biggest update ever, which is the Fall of Oriath, also venture into console world. But suffice to say, they have made a really successful kind of venture into console, plus the biggest update ever that was very well received. You have the number to support as well. All-time peak 98,000 people back in August. So not too long ago, they've encountered one of their peak, and that is what I've always been saying to the Marvel Heroes team is that when you release biggest update ever, when you release venture in the console, you should see something of that magnitude that push up the whole game. And bear in mind that this is Steam PC. People do get into console as well. So that explains how successful the franchise is. And there's a new expansion as well coming up in the latest leak, and I would like to talk a little bit about that as well. All right, so now I've actually have Path of Exile videos, quite a number of them actually. So because a lot of you asked me, have I tried Path of Exile or not? Yes, I have, and I have posted a lot of videos in the past. I'm LaceInExile in Path of Exile, so the highest character I've got is level 91 Slayer. I've completed 25 challenges out of 40. So, although the level cap is hundreds, but I think by and large, if you reach 90 and above, it's rather successful in this kind of setting. And I've got more than half of the challenges because, beyond that, it is really about time commitment, which I do not have. So it says something that the build that I was using, the gear that I was doing, using the knowledge I have, the kind of skill that I have, is kind of sufficient to bring me to the end game. Just that I didn't have enough time or commitments to continue doing the until really high up there. But I've made some good progress, and I kind of know what is happening in the Path of Exile world as well. And I just can't wait to do a little bit more for you guys on Path of Exile. Now, the new expansion called War of the Atlas, which is coming up in about 5 days time, December 8th. And it is one of the another new league. So if you are new to Path of Exile, they go by standard or league. League is more like a season. It has a duration to it, like a couple of months. I think 3 months duration. You accomplish all that you want within that duration, and you call it a day. And I kind of like the kind of setup because standard, you have to face economic that is rather matured. Things could be quite expensive, but when it comes to the new league, things become a lot the economic is fresh. So I find it more fun on the league side, and I would like to invite you all to join me as well on the new league coming in December. And I will be starting a new series as well based on my experience with War of the Atlas. I can't wait to join you guys online to play as well. Now, This new series, although it is not really like new to me because I've been doing a lot of Path of Exile video in the past anyway, but I would like to focus on to how you guys can transition from Marvel Heroes into a Path of Exile, be it as you are a new player or semi-new, meaning that you have started but you gave up in the past and so on. So I'd like to have episodes of video just to talk a little bit about my experience in learning the game, in growing as well. What are some of the tips and tricks that I picked up along the way that may help you as well. So as you are playing the league, you know, if you watch it with me, then you may also be inspired to do a little bit more or overcome the challenges that you may have. And in the end of the day, you know me, I always look for things that are effective and fun because I don't have that much time to play games in general. So that would be my philosophy. And if that is yours as well, well, you know, that's good. We are a team. All right. Now, it's still a couple of days before the league starts. So normally what people do is to, I have some advice for you guys. If you want to join me for this latest league, which is Abyss League, you have got to decide on your goal and approach, and the two go hand in hand together. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it because this game is very deep and vast. You can't possibly do everything that you want on the first league, especially if it is your very first league. And also, you would like to research a little bit on the build or character that you like to play versus some of the game mechanic as well. So and also, I mean, you know, do go into the website, Path of Exile website, you know, before the league start. Usually the YouTuber will start sharing their favorite kind of like a starter build and to get you started really on the right footing, just to get hype in general, just to get excited with the news and so on for this latest league. All right. Now, there are a couple of approaches and goals, like I mentioned before, so I'd like to list them out to you. And you are the one who's going to decide what is best for you. First thing first, there are people who like to find things out on your own, like what I did on my first league. It wasn't successful in the end, but it is a good learning experience because some just enjoy facing the game as it is without reading the guides outside, without doing anything. But you could also jumpstart yourself with a little bit of research through YouTube, through their forum. Just find a build that you kind of like, thing that you like doing. Now, but when you look for a build, there are a couple of tips I'd like to share with you right now. Is that you look for builds that are easy to build, cheap to build, because some of the build, you look at it is very fun, very effective, but then they are very expensive to get the items, a lot of time and or commitment to get those gear. So usually I'll go for builds that are cheap to build, and some of the build also has pros and cons. So do pay attention to the pros and cons. Every one of us have different kind of play style. You know, I kind of like things a little bit fluid. I don't really enjoy too much of the ability swapping or whatnot. So just pay attention to all these pros and cons and just know what you are getting yourself into. Some like to just face the game and try to craft things on their own and so on and so forth. I've done that too. But to be honest, I realized that I missed out a lot by not reading up on the mechanics, that the orbs. There are many orbs in this game. There's no gold, but there are orbs. And each orb can be used for trading as well as for crafting. So reading up on those orbs and what you can do with them will then help you a lot in terms of like what you should use it for, what you should pick up and keep and so on. You don't keep everything, right? But you just look for things that you really want to keep. And reading up on those things will give you the upper hand to know in advance what to do with the item that you get. Some like to farm your own items. Some like to just whatever the game throw to you, you use it. Like the Diablo 3, I love it because you can just farm everything on your own. You don't need to trade. But this game is very, very, it make it very hard if you want to farm your own gear. It is still possible, doable, but so long as you are very knowledgeable in what you're doing and you kind of have the time commitments to and the skill to sort of overcome certain obstacles that you cannot breach. So that is my advice. I would just say, I didn't like trading at all. I hated trading, to be honest, to this day. I hated the whole auction house of Diablo 3, even World of Warcraft. I just don't like the fact that I have to deal with people and sometimes being cheated, or they have some price fixing and so on, just like any economy out there. But I've embrace trading, and my experience tell me that, well, there are actually good people out there that genuinely just want to help out others. And I pass the love around as well. You know, when I sell my gear, I usually go for like, you know, just something that's normal pricing. You know, people get a good gear for a little bit of you know, crafting material. I'm happy with that. Goals wise, I mean, you know, depending on whether you want to jumpstart with the established build, or, you know, get your game mechanic and so on, or right on the day one, you may want to set your goal, realistic goal, because level cap is 100. It is very rarely that you could start your first league and then get to a level 100. In fact, you know, I don't think 100 is something that a lot of us would aspire to do. I don't, because there is an XP penalty once the character dies, and at a high level, believe me, they do die quite a fair bit, unless you're really, really good. So getting beyond 90 is really kind of good already. But, you know, you don't have to aim that high. For your first league, you may say, if I get to 60, I'm happy. And that's fine too. Versus 70, versus 80, versus 90. Depending on the time that you have to invest on this game, depending on whether you want to do it in 1 league or 2 leagues. So for me, my first league was 60 plus, second league was 70 plus, and then third league was 90 plus. So that was how I roll. And you don't need to force yourself in doing what other people are doing as well, because at the end of the day, it's what you enjoy. Challenge-wise, each league will come with 4 challenges, I think. They varies from league to league, but if you get a 12 challenge, you'll get microtransaction, kind of like a cosmetic effect, like a footprint or something like that, which kind of nice to have. So I think all of us should, if you start a league, should aim to get 12 challenges done. And it could be quite challenging for a new player, but, you know, but the challenges to me are good to learn the game as well. Much like Diablo 3 as well, they have season journey, which is a lot easier, of course, and it's kind of like a tutorial that you do certain things, that you fulfill certain criteria, you are rewarded with that objective met. So 12 challenges, you get probably a footprint, and if you get 24, then you get you know, or maybe 18 or 24, you get the weapon effect and so on. So there are quite a lot of like you know, goodies for you to go for. Whether you do ladder or not ladder, you know, up to you. Some like the leaderboard and stuff like that. But if you are new, most likely, you know, probably it's not something that you go for. You can decide whether you want to do softcore or hardcore. Personal choice. There's no judgment here. A lot of people like to do hardcore because of the excitement that is involved and the patience required. A lot of people also like softcore because it is less punishing, but still there's an XP penalty if a character die at a higher level. So now I think the very first tip that I'd like to share with you is that it is okay to start a new character. Some people started with a new character and then got stuck with things that they don't enjoy, and after that they say, oh man, I spent like 10-12 hours in it and you know, it's ruined. I can't get anywhere. I don't like my character. It's okay. I mean, you know, it doesn't take long to build another character, and also each time you build a character, it becomes better because of the experience that you've got from the past will then help you at present how to get a better character, and you enjoy the game much better. So I would strongly say that, you know, don't hang on to those classes or mechanic that you do not enjoy. If you find that it's not for me, move on to the next class, move on to the next build, do something different. You know, there's not right or wrong. You can just delete off the character. There's really no big deal in this game. Really no big deal. In fact, I've got quite a number of season character or league character that is now in standard. I don't think I'll ever play them, to be very honest, because I don't play standard. I only play the league. Now, throughout years of making, well, months or years of making video for Path of Exile, or even in Marvel Heroes when I mentioned on Path of Exile, I've received many feedback, and these are the complaints, common complaints that I've heard, and I'd like to address them as well, because it is to anticipate what will happen when you started your journey. Very, very likely you will fall into one of these categories, and I'd like to just give you an answer to them before you get too frustrated or too unhappy about it. First thing first, people will just throw comments, say that this game is too easy. So they started a character, they find a build that is rather nice, like a Totem build, whatever it is. And after that, they trash out, you know, they destroy everything until level 40 and say, whoa, that is too easy. You know, usually my response would be try to push it to 60 to 70 to 80. and tell me whether it is still too easy or not. Now, when I say something like that, usually people will just counter saying that, well, it is still too easy, this is boring, I don't want to play it anymore. But none of them actually come back to me and saying that, I've reached 80 or 90 with the same build, figure things on my own, never read up, and it is just too easy. So it is not easy. The first 40 level is just tutorial. Anything beyond, like when it comes to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 is things that get really escalated from a challenge perspective. Second comment is, again, it's very common. People say that this game is just too hard. I do not possess the skill to do it. I just cannot do it. It's true. This game is extremely hard. The learning curve is extremely high. That's why I myself read up a lot on the internet. I talk to friends. I connect to community. I watch some of the YouTube. I experiment as well. But my attitude in life, in gaming as well, is to never give up. And also, I can understand why people say the game is too hard, because it may well be some of the like mechanic that they don't understand, like the resist. You have to cap your resist, to a certain level. When you level up, before that, no one really know, and they get suddenly getting destroyed out of nowhere. There's so many one shot that is upon you. You don't read the affixes. There are things that reflect upon you back. You hit with full force and you kill yourself. Right, so there are a lot of things that could kill you in this game, and it could be very, very hard to solve. Like if you don't do the right thing, you don't connect the gems in the right way, you just don't get the enjoyment there. But that's the whole thing. When things become challenging, always look back on what was the reason behind it, and after that, just have to overcome that accordingly. Some say I can't find gear, which again is also very so some say the story is kind of meh, which I kind of agree in a sense, because unlike say Marvel, which has a real lore of decades of comic books behind it, or movies as well, TV series, unlike Blizzard game, they have such an established lore over like 20 years of Diablo. Path of Exile is still kind of new, started perhaps like maybe I think a while back, like I don't know, less than a decade back. So the lore is not quite there, which I can understand why people find that the story is just not as engaging. I mean, I try to read the story, it get a little bit draggy, and after that I just skip, and I don't really care, I just kill, and after that I get to end game, I do mapping. But that's fine. But recently I've been to playing other ARPG. I mean, normally others even worse, Guardians of the Embers or Mule Legend or whatever you call it. Their story is even non-existent. So I thought the story is actually not too bad. It's just up to you to get in, read up a little bit on that. But I can't really comment too much on this one. If you don't like the story, just do what I do, skip the dialogue and just kill everything that you see. I can't find the gear. True, it's very hard to farm gears that you want, and I found that it is extremely frustrating as a new player facing this game. So I trade, and believe it or not, trading is very easy. It's not that expensive as well. If you get a build that is very cheap to build, you could actually get the whole set of endgame, well, near endgame gear, rather reasonable price if you research it well. All right. There's no skill reset, also true. You can't just anyhow change the way that you want to play. Like for example, you started off thinking that I'll do a Necromancer witch, and after that you realize I don't like Necromancer, man. After 40 level, 50 level, 60 level, say I want to switch from Necromancer to Fire or Lightning Witch. You can't. Well, you can. You can reset a lot of things. You can purchase orbs to reset and stuff like that. You can, but it's kind of painful. You may as well start a new one, which is alright because build decision matters. I know it's a very hard kind of like concept to grasp in today's world because everything is so easy handed to you. You can reset everything and anything. But then it comes with a cost. It's a hidden cost. When you are able to change just anything, everything in this game, your character means lesser to you. If you are born as a Necromancer, be a Necromancer. And if you don't like to be a Necromancer, birth another witch and be a Fire Witch. That would be my thinking behind it. But having said that, I mean, the game does allow quite a big leeway for you to reset points. Like, for example, I've done my last season in Legacy, Slayer. I started off with one path, and after that, I wiped the entire one of the leg up and, get another leg of progression because I have to move on to the end game, and I change my build, and that is the path that I go for. And I still could do it without purchasing any ops. I've got enough points to reset just to do what I want to do and do some fine tuning as well. And there are ops that you can collect to do that, but you are supposed to do some minor adjustment, nothing major, like changing from a necromancer witch into, say, a fire witch, for example, right? The animation is kind of terrible. Well, quite true. So I mean, you know, if you look at the character, it looks rather dead. Somehow it doesn't quite move the natural way. Well, I guess you know, the way that I do it is that I have the microtransaction. I have a cosmetic item. I put all the fire on the face or whatnot. It just doesn't feel that it's that bad. But yeah, I understand. I mean, it's not something I can defend anyway. It's not one of those games that you could zoom in and just admire how the character move, like maybe Marvel Heroes and so on. But it is just what it is. You know, some say that it's just too gory, too much blood and so on. Well, which is also true. This game is not for the faint-hearted one. There are very, very gruesome things that you will see that will kind of make you feel very unhappy if you are the type that like something more cartoonish. If so, then stick to something like a Titan Quest. I kind of liked it too. But yes, it could be quite bloody as well. This game is really, really bloody sometimes. Now, interestingly, there are people who complain that this game is not a pay-to-win. I do have friends, because I have a channel and I do have real life friends, and you know, a subset of them actually enjoy pay to win. They like to get booster, they like to buy ultimate tokens, they would like to just spend money to win. They don't care. I mean, they don't have enough time to do all these things. They don't want to farm, and they get all these things. Which unfortunately, this game is not really a pay to win game at all. You can't really. I mean, basically, you can it's a free-to-play. It's one of the best free-to-play out there. You don't even need to get extra stash if you don't do trading at all. Like you don't sell items. You don't have to do it. So you know, yeah. Well, take it as it is. I mean, I see it as a positive, but some people say that it could be quite a pain, which I understand. You cannot spend money to win progress here. So now, next question is that people ask me what build or class I'm planning to play in this upcoming league in Path of Exile, and I've done some research. I'm still not entirely happy about my decision yet, but I would like to start something that is more friendly to the starters, those who are new to this game, because my intent to start a new series for you guys on this league and to just show you how it can be done. And I believe that success breeds success. So you know, the more you can see me being successful without too much effort, you will say that, oh, I can do that too, I can do it better. So I am possibly going to do a Sundom Gladiator, maybe. But it's still a duelist, I think, which I've already done as duelist in my last league, which I try to avoid. But I can't find a good build for Witch or Scion, which I wanted to. So I may start with something that is rather easy. It's not really like an Ice Crush Slayer in the sense that it's like a range kind of thing. So it does play a little bit like Venom with the range Venom. So we'll see how it goes. In any case, thank you very much for watching, and if you have questions or comments, do drop in the box below, and I'm looking forward to see you more as this league starts. Bye, Exiles.